Transeúntes, un podcast de Pablo Rodríguez y Ezequiel Vigo.
Hello.
Hello, look at us, all in person. You can see all our faces, we're in the same room, same country.
Yeah. We're not.
This took a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, this isn't made with an AI.
I had to go through several visas to get here. Several borders.
Yeah.
But it's,
Michael is
it's
wanted in several NATO countries, actually. His real name is not Michael, by the way.
Red note.
Yeah.
Red note is out for me.
Pretty much.
Don't say where I am.
No, but it's nice. It's nice to be in person. First of all, the flow of the episode is going to be better than another ones because we won't talk over ourselves too much, or at least we won't have an excuse not to.
The
Yeah,
Wi-Fi
exactly.
back in my home country sucks, man. It's really bad.
I'm not marrying you, man.
No, man. Not if you want to have good Wi-Fi. No megabytes per second.
Well.
Okay, so episode 4. For this one, I don't think any of us took notes.
No.
It was a slightly shorter episode. Still a good episode. Still an interesting episode. A lot of stuff to talk about.
No.
I mean, not as impressive as the first two.
No. I mean,
More linear.
First episode was amazing. Second episode was very good. Third episode was good, but for another reason. It wasn't storyline good. It was just its own little movie. And then this last episode was kind of like meh. It was a filler. You know, it didn't really feel like they brought anything.
But we were talking about
The thing is, it wasn't a filler. It's just it didn't feel as independently strong as the others did.
It was also 45 minutes long.
Yeah, but I think
Compared
we
to the
were
last
talking
one,
towards the end of the last episode. We were talking about like how it was not going to be able to keep up this pace. Like we would need a transition now, and this was that. It's just the plot going forward. We have them, the protagonists, doing things, which is what we've been straying from in the last 1.5 episode, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It's natural that we have that. I don't think it's a bad episode by any means. I think we have some good scenes. I think we have some good one-on-one recreation of some actual like scenes from the game, which is insane. Like even the camera like angles and movements.
You were talking about one earlier on.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. I didn't remember that one.
Did you realize that?
The what?
The scene in which
With
Ellie,
the porn magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was identical. I mentioned it in the last episode that's what happened like afterwards, that they didn't show it. I thought they were just going to skip that scene. But, you know, since it was a relationship building episode, it made sense for them to include it in this one. I mean, the thing is, we've been spoiled. That's the truth of the matter. We've been spoiled with the last episodes. We're actually getting some plot development. We're actually getting some plot moving forward. And we're like, it's not as sparky as it was before. If you look at The Walking Dead's a pretty good zombie show, right?
Yeah.
If you actually go back and watch the episodes after you've watched The Last of Us,
as hell.
slow as fuck. So slow. We're getting one episode that's not even slow. It's just normal. We're like, just like
crazy.
I was falling asleep.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, well, no one was expecting this episode to be action-packed. You know, like the last one was like...
But we still got some action towards the end, I guess.
Yeah, but I feel like it wasn't focused on the action. I
No,
think
of course
the first
not.
episode was so good because there was chaos. Second episode, there was chaos, but, you know, with the clickers, so, you know, it had to be a bit more, like, low-key, but still very intense. The third one was just intense because it was about Bill's relationship with Frank. But this one didn't feel intense. This one kind of just felt like, yeah, they were building the relationship. It was showing that Ellie, she either shot or killed someone. They didn't really specify because she's like, oh, it's not my first time. But you don't know if she's killed or if she's just like shot someone.
Yeah.
You know? So that kind of shows some like personal growth, but it didn't feel like, I wasn't on the edge of my seat at any point.
But I liked the beginning. I didn't like the ending of the episode that much in terms of, I was expecting maybe a bit more of action or just maybe more fireworks in that way.
Yeah.
But the beginning of the episode I really liked because we had the moments with Ellie and Joel in the woods when they were scared, and she's like, when the infected come here, and she's like, and Joel's like, no, you shouldn't be worried about the infected here. And now we got that whole subplot or idea of like the strangers that we're gonna meet in the future.
That's
and
a good
I
detail.
like how Ellie is like also very scared in the night, and they break that tension with the pants and the quirky jokes, and the moment in which like it's so authentic how they both crack out in laughter and start like
Yeah, because it's the dumb puns. I also like. I think it was very subtle in that scene. I really enjoyed when Joe's like, no, you don't need to be worried. They're not going to be coming for us. And then the second shot, she's completely asleep and the guy is up, like watching. Because obviously that's like the first hint at like, okay, he's trying to protect her innocence per se. Like, no, we'll be fine. And then of course he stays up because there's a big chance they're not going to be fine. You know, so he's already starting to take the high ground and trying to protect her. And even the scenes, we get a lot more depth of Joel's character and his issues at the day, like when he has to communicate and express his feelings. He's like, well, I'm not very good at this, but you shouldn't have to. And he just, you know, like he transmits with his look, like you can tell he's trying to have like a fatherly figure moment, like trying to comfort her, but he's just really bad at this shit. he can't help it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
No, say. I was just...
Something that is bothering me, I feel like it's weird because Joel keeps telling Ellie to do or to not to do things, right? He's always like, don't take the gun. And she takes the gun. It's like, put your seatbelt on. And she's like, I don't want to put the seatbelt on. It's like do what I say. And she's like, she ends up doing whatever she wants all the time. And in the episode, sure, she saves his life by like shooting the guy. But if the whole series is going to be Ellie just disobeying like direct instructions of the person who's like taking her to the safe spot, that's gonna like it's gonna get under my skin. Because why does she need to disobey every single thing? It's like, sure, I understand she's supposed to be 14 or 15, like her rebellious age or whatever, but you can still not be a complete idiot every time you need to be an adult.
Well, but
She
they're
does
building
obey
the trust. Think about it. Like, I think... Sorry.
No, she does obey sometimes, but you know.
I think they also, like, as we see Joel breaking down in terms of, like, becoming more closer to her and more, like, open, she eventually has to also, like, have trust in him. But she's rebellious just because of her life. She was always like that. She was on the run. And even though this guy is a good guy, she doesn't like being around anyone. She wanted to run away. She wanted to do it by her own. And I get that now she should be, you know, more comfortable with him, but still, I can get where she's rebellious. I don't think it'll be like that for the whole show. Like,
no, I think she's gonna listen for the important things. But at the end of the day, what they're trying to show is that Joel is telling her to be very obedient because he's worried about her, right? And he's trying to get her to do what's safest. But at the same time, Ellie is smarter than she's given credit for, you know? And throughout the show and throughout the game,
But
this
why
is
though?
an ongoing factor.
We
Because
can't talk
she's
about
just-
the game because we know how she is in the game. We need to like see this objectively from someone's perspective of, I've never heard of the game, I've never played it. It's just a zombie show.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Like,
HBO. She hasn't done anything really
Like, she hasn't done anything
mature.
very smart or very mature. But also in the game at this point, she wouldn't have done anything significantly mature. But we're getting closer to places where she might. And I'm not sure if she... Because there's a lot of character building for both characters, both for Joel and for Ellie.
Right.
And I don't want to give any spoilers to, you know, to the people that
To
don't...
the viewers.
to the viewers that haven't played the game. But we're coming up to a moment that is pretty character building for Ellie. You know, with the whole...
don't see anything.
Yeah.
you know...
We'll bleep it out.
We'll leave that there. But yeah, you know, I mean, I liked that when she shot the guy, they tried to make it as horrible as possible. How she how she made him paraplegic. He's like, I can't feel my legs, please, mom.
Yeah. It's like, my name's Stephen. It's like, my mom's name is blank. And she's like, I don't want to know that.
I can't feel my legs, please call my mom. I don't want to. And Joel's like, just look away.
All right. Speaking of just that whole scene, who was the guy who was locked in the storage container with the woman who just goes in and just like shoots him because like he was a doctor or something?
He probably worked for Fedra. He's probably
I think he was supposed to be a doctor.
Yeah, they said he was a doctor. I think what happened in that city, you know, obviously Fedra is pretty terrible. We've seen, you know, about how they execute people and all that shit. Big city like Chicago. Well, was it Chicago? Which one is it?
We were talking about it yesterday because the geographic route makes no sense. In the game, they're supposed to be in Pittsburgh around this.
Yeah, it
point,
should be there now.
But they're in Kansas City.
In Kansas City.
Kansas City, which is like.
Why did I
south.
say
It's
Chicago?
like,
This shows how much
because
I
his
know about-
brother's in Chicago,
because, no, he's in Wyoming.
Yeah.
No one's in Chicago, bro. I just pulled that out of my ass.
Yeah, so
But
did I.
he's
completely.
supposed to be in Pittsburgh, I think. Because we were talking about it yesterday while we were watching the episode.
Hmm.
And someone was like, the hell, man? Like, why are they going all the way down? They're basically going to be doing like a massive V.
Hmm.
I don't know why they would be doing that.
There's probably like maybe there's some main highway that they're avoiding or some shit like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, or
That makes
Fedra,
him-
or big Fedra centers or something like that.
Right. Also, I was wondering, let's assume that this happened in our civilization, in our lifetimes.
What would you do?
Would like society as a whole collapse as much as it does in the series?
I think probably
Because they
because
seem to be going back like 300 years, man.
No, I don't
Like-
think. I don't think so. I think it's just more. We want to have globalization. Each
there would
country.
be such a lack of resources,
Yeah.
like everywhere. Because I don't think you realize how high the percentage is of the resources that we would even use on our day to day that are imported. Like we don't half the shit we use isn't from
Like,
here.
We imported a gas, man.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I'm just laughing. Do you think
Bro, I'm in a
fungus can
shipping
affect
container.
fish?
The what?
Do you think like seafood would be affected by the fungus?
Nah, I think
Surely people,
like animals
if you
were
live by the coast, you can just like fish every day.
animals were fine. Yeah, but
Living on a
here's the
boat,
issue.
man.
Here's the
Cheaper.
issue. People, obviously, yeah, if you were in a situation where you lived on your own, golden scenario, like if you lived in the woods. I think the biggest issue in this kind of society after this kind of collapse, first of all, is the government taking those drastic measures to stop like executing people and all that stuff.
No.
That's not gonna sit well with people,
Yeah.
People are gonna stop obeying the government. That's gonna cause even more revolution.
I guess
Gonna
they are,
cause
like,
even
bomb-
more
they were bombing
separation.
cities and stuff. I guess they were doing that.
Yeah, that's
just,
gonna
like,
destabilize in a world where you're already like lacking so many resources. You start bombing cities, you're not
It's like,
exactly gonna have.
Honey, why don't you
No,
trust
but-
the government? Like they bombed our house.
I think what would happen if like most
They're
of the
all
countries.
Nazis.
Yeah, exactly,
What
man.
was that? What was that?
That
They're
was-
supposed to be like Nazis. No, because they mentioned that in the series.
That was
No,
just
it's
what Bill
because-
said, bro, because he's supposed to be this paranoid fella.
Yeah,
He's like,
exactly.
the government are all Nazis.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, exactly. I think what would happen is like most of the countries and societies would fall, but some of them like big countries that had like enough stock on just resources could like survive somehow. But it'd be quite similar to the show. It'd be like quite like as you said, maybe going back to the past. It would be more martial law influence and just I guess it wouldn't be a democracy by any means.
You're not gonna have
China
people
just becomes
lining
even
up
more
for
efficient.
voting.
Yeah, exactly. Not
Doing
at all.
campaigns to get votes when like your cousin died yesterday of like touching a mushroom.
No TikTokers. No TikTokers. No.
Yeah, because no one's on Instagram. There probably wouldn't be any like mainstream Wi-Fi. People are using radios.
No white men podcasts.
You forget
or
that
just
the
rambling
internet
about.
exactly. You forget the internet takes a lot of maintenance. There's a lot of facilities that use a lot of electricity to keep
Yeah.
this thing going.
That's a
So
good point.
when shit hits the fan, you're gonna keep your electricity essential things like your crops. Even your crops, like it would probably be hard. The thing is, it's just with people infected, like you gotta have perimeters, and it's so hard to
Have
create,
society with
like,
perimeters.
all the time, and like people don't like perimeters. Like people are dickheads with the law today, imagine if the law was executing people and bombing cities. Like no one would listen to anyone ever.
Honestly, yeah, like I already get pissed off when my mum told me like, nah, like you need to be home for dinner, and I'm like, you're not the boss of me. Imagine if civilization collapses and then there's like this man comunidad.
Fuck you! I don't need to go to work.
I'm just like, hey, so like we're gonna assume like the responsibility and just like control everyone all of a sudden. That
Yeah.
would not.
Hell no.
Yeah, imagine that.
Fuck
Like,
You're gonna tell me what I can do after you just like bombed Seattle?
It's like I don't know you.
It's like a rainy day at school, like fuck you, I'm not going to school. Or when you see like a teacher in a restaurant, like you can't say shit to me now.
I think it
You
would
don't
take
own
like
this restaurant.
I think it would take at least like 5 generations of every single bloodline like being raised in Nepal, just in like Tibetan influence and just in Buddhism or things like that, very like mindfulness in order to like achieve somehow not chaos in a situation like that. It still would be chaos, riots and like
Not even
killing.
chaos. Like you just wouldn't trust anything. Like the government has failed you. Tons of people are dying. People have become cunts, because there's chaos. So everyone's trying to steal from you and rob you. So you're not gonna be like, let's reinstate society. Meanwhile, someone's like breaking in your house and killing your kids.
I feel like the religion would like play a massive role.
Yeah,
There'd definitely be some religious fanatics.
Or the opposite. I
new
feel like,
religions would raise as
religion
well.
would either be abolished because everyone's like, man, like God's such an asshole, like such a
Nah,
dick.
that wouldn't happen at all.
He released this plague on us all, and like this is it. This is life.
A
Or
lot
you
of religions would be abolished. I'm 100%, like 100% certain that like Muslims would be one of the few religions that would like endure through that, because those guys are like so into their religion that they'd probably be like, this is all part of the plan. Catholics would crumble immediately.
Yeah, Catholics would
like they
crumble.
would. Catholics are just kind of gripping onto the religion, like just kind of okay, just in case.
Yeah,
Just the Pope gets just devoured by it. Infected.
Nah, but I think the biggest, talking about religion, one of the best like post-apocalyptic, one of the best post-apocalyptic representations for me is Fallout. Like the Fallout shit is fucking great. Like how Cold War. Imagine there was atomic.
You think that seeing how this show is doing, you will get a Fallout like adaptation in any way?
Well, see, I don't know, because it's not the same kind of game. It's not as much a narrative-based game such as it is like
No,
it has more of a
they could do
narrative.
so much with Fallout because
Maybe a sort of like
each Fallout has its own like little storyline, right?
But it has so many like side
that's
stories.
what
could
I'm
be just
saying.
NPCs and like friends.
I don't know if they would, because the scale for it is a lot crazier. And Fallout, people aren't the biggest fans of Fallout after like Fallout 76 came out, and people aren't very happy with Todd Phillips.
So, like you grow up in a bunker, you're a baby born in a bunker, and then you just go outside, and then you realize that there's like so much to explore above ground, right? That's you can do.
They have a
anything.
great world. They have a great world as well. Like going back to religion, the whole like religion of the atom that comes out, because you know how there's radiation in that world, right? Because
What,
of
in Fallout?
in Fallout, there's radiation, and with a certain level of radiation, you die. But there's a bunch of people that have, it's called like the Church of the Atom, that they pray to like open atomic bombshells and pray to like radiation and shit. And those people like live in heavily radiated areas, and they've like developed their bodies to be cool with radiation. And those are fanatic. That's a fucking cool like little religious group, post-apocalyptic.
So that's what it would take you to just join a cult. Like
No, I'm
immunity.
not saying it resonates with me. I'm saying it's a very good story element. Like
No, I
that's the best thing about Fallout. Actually, it's also the best thing about games like Skyrim. Like Todd Phillips has done a great job with both the factions, like how they have different factions.
Yeah.
They have the Brotherhood, the Institute, the Railway, the Church of the Atom, and then Skyrim. They
Church
got
of the Atom is a cool name.
it's cool, bro.
It's
like,
a cool name.
and it makes like. With
That's
the
a cult I would join.
with the nutcases out there, I would definitely like 100%. There'd be some people joining this.
A cult you can trust, man.
Like, the atom is the truth. Look, it has laid waste to everything we know. Join the church.
Damn, what was I gonna say? It was about.
Should we get back to
We're
the
on a
episode?
hell of a tangent.
I guess we should get back to it.
Yeah. So what
That's what we
happens in the
here for,
actual
man.
episode? We get them moving towards Kansas. No, we said Kansas City.
They're going to Wyoming, but
Yeah.
I think they're in Kansas City.
And they somehow like a tunnel. Is
People in
blocked.
Kansas have not been okay with the Fedra folks.
Yep.
They've been like, we
No one
got,
likes Fedra.
yeah, fuck Fedra.
Fedra is not Fedra.
Maybe
Fedra boys.
we are fed up of Fedra. And maybe, they just raised some guns, created some kind of revolution. Maybe Fedra wasn't that consolidated there. At the end of the day, even if they are consolidated, like they're no longer the army, If you have a city filled with people, or with whatever people are left, the amount of soldiers you have, and gun law isn't as, strict
It's not
as it is
existent.
now. Anyone, like, they can get their hands on guns. Everyone.
The US without gun laws is just the Wild West. And I feel like that's kind of reflected.
Yeah.
Anyone who has
The
a
US
gun
without gun
runs
rules
it.
and without like interstate communication or like military backup, like if you just fuck shit up in one city, it doesn't ripple out into like them calling the military or something.
Right.
I'd give that city a week.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to.
In a good week.
I feel like we need to
Not
do
in
some
Florida.
eradication of the infected next episode.
Sorry.
So this episode, like they got captured, left that on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
We're obviously gonna either see them escape, become friends, something. But we need to see like more of the infected. I feel like we need to see.
They gave a good hint at one thing that
What?
another thing that they skipped over in episode 3. A very, you remember that floor that was cracked and was kind of breathing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, what the hell was that?
Exactly, my man.
Ooh, that's a big boy. That's what that
It's
is.
a chunky
That's a big boy. That was a boss in the game, and if they do it justice, that's a terrifying and disgusting thing that they're gonna show.
Yeah, I think I remember. Can I say the name of?
It's like a bloater.
Yeah, the bloater.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about the game. I remember the clickers, the bloaters, who are just some like nasty bastards. But I mean,
Then there was another special boss that was like a ball of, I don't know if you remember that.
ball of lard and fungi.
Yeah, just a ton of fungi.
A marabunta.
But we need to see more of the infected.
We will. I think we will.
We'll see
we've only
plenty.
got
We had the
episodes
foreshadowing of that.
5
that
episodes left.
I mean, it makes sense that they're not constantly in places that are filled to the rim with infected, because that's the kind of places they're trying to avoid, And right now, especially in places where there's a lot of people, there's not going to be that many infected. Because if you're going to settle in a place, you're going to live in a place, you're going to spend most of the free time you have just clearing off the infected,
But they're not. In this last episode, they're not in a QZ, are they?
No.
They're just
That
like,
was
on
a
the
QZ.
streets.
That was supposed to. That was
The
a
gates
QZ.
were open,
Yeah.
right? So basically,
Yeah.
like
They opened them up and they
can
just.
come in. So why isn't the fungus?
But they said it that there were not that many infected over there. It's just the infected are in areas as well. No, I don't think there might be cities in which there are not that many infected at all.
The fungi
Yeah,
was
but
just
they're
scouting
like
out,
a
and
capital
they were
city.
like,
Huh?
They're
Kansas.
like a capital city, though. They're in like. The
Yeah, but there's some
equivalent of, like,
cities, for
Boston.
example, in which they drop bombs.
Maybe the fungi was just like scouting underground. It was like, ugh, Kansas. It's like a sharp right.
Yeah.
Fuck
Did a
this.
U-turn. I think we're gonna get a lot of infected. We only have 4 episodes left. The pacing is gonna be crazy in this.
I'll stand true to what I said earlier, that I think they're gonna make 2 seasons out of the first game. With the
Yeah.
current pacing,
Yeah.
and I think they're gonna cut it off exactly at the point that I
Gordon Ramsay
We talked
also-
about this off camera. Well, you told me you think the
I think they're
at the
gonna
end
cut
of
it
the
off.
season, I'll confirm if you got it right, because I think it's a natural place.
It's a good place to stop it, because in the game there's like a pause there, and we get like a gap, so it's like a couple, I think like a year or a few months passes.
A time skip, right?
Yeah, we get a time skip there. Not a huge time skip, but we get a time
Gordon
skip.
Ramsay kind of tweeted a spoiler. I'm not sure if I mentioned it last week, because I think it was last week. She tweeted like, "Oh, like so excited to be doing a second season with my best friend," and I'm like, they're either gonna drag this out, or she just didn't play the game and doesn't know how.
Well,
how
of
the
course
storyline continues.
she would know, like if she had an offer for a second season or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously she's gonna have a contract ready for a second season.
Yeah.
Especially with the amount of hype from the first and second and third episodes.
Yeah.
Um.
I mean, to be honest, like if you're scared about spoilers for, I would be terrified. I would be terrified for spoilers. But there's nothing you can do. Like, this is based on material that came out in 2011.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult for you to get no spoilers. The most famous game of all time, pretty much, that came out in 2011 has had 2 games, and now everyone's talking about it. Like, if you're that terrified of spoilers, I recommend you rack up like 150 and buy some old cranky PS4, whack in The Last of Us and play it. It'll take you like 15 hours. It'll be great. And you can stop fearing.
Not a hard game either.
Not a hard game. I mean, if
And
you
you'll appreciate it
if
a
you
lot more
can't
now
if
that
you
the
can't
series
beat The Last of Us, you need to like stay away from gaming in general.
Yeah.
That's
Or
one of the
driving.
main selling points I was giving my dad. I'm like, this is a game you'd be able to. It's like a shooting game. It's like, yeah, but it's not like Call of Duty. You know, you'll be able to kill things.
Yeah.
You'd be able to kill
the aiming's
things.
weird in the game though.
Yeah,
It's
but
because there's no like
makes it
auto
easier.
lock, so auto aim, aim lock, whatever it's called.
Yeah, but if you just reduce the difficulty,
Yeah.
if you just play full story mode, like it's easy as fuck because you do hella damage
Yeah.
and the scavenging is way easier. You're finding like so much stuff. You're living in abundance. And well,
Living large.
I mean, I think this episode we definitely got some great chemistry building between Ellie and Joel. I'm starting to see them come together. I like seeing them open up to each other. It's, you know, at the same time I like it, and at the same time, you know, it makes me a bit sad because we know it's going to be a rough ride overall. But it's good that they're building relationship. I'm liking Ellie more and more. You know, I was more hesitant before, but she's having some good moments, especially this last episode. The puns, she's been doing very well. Her acting is doing great.
Yeah, she's so good.
And Joel is great.
She does annoy me though. I don't want to be that guy.
Well, but she like
she's kind of annoying me.
but she's meant to be annoying. That's the point. That I'm
She's
praising
not
her for
annoying in
being
the game.
annoying.
Like, she's not annoying in the game.
She's a bit annoying in the game at
sarcastic,
first.
but she's more like.
She's a bit annoying at first in the game.
I think it's a different type of annoying.
She's not as annoying because I don't know.
Like Pedro Pascal kills his role
Yeah.
as Joel because he's so similar. I mean, yes, we've already established. Like, Valorant,
She's-
kills
you
her
know what
role,
it is?
but she's a little bit annoying.
You know what it is? In the game, she's just as annoying. She does more shit, but she's also more charming in the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, she's also like more.
It's kind of more
badass.
charm. Like, you know those kids when you meet, like, you know, your little cousin or something,
Like, yeah.
who's a dickhead. You know, he's running around, but then he's kind of funny sometimes, and
Sit
you're
down.
like, you see him like talk back to his dad or something, or like
Yeah.
he's a cunt, but you kind of like him, you know.
And a
And
little
then there's the
bit-
others that's just a cunt. You just don't like him. You don't like his face. You don't
A
like the
little
way he
bit,
does.
too much sugar in his orange juice.
Oh yeah, definitely that type of kid.
ADHD, man.
I was definitely that type of kid.
Oh my god.
100%. But yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at this episode. It was still a good episode. They're still consistent with, you know, the good production, good acting, good shots. What character I'm probably growing to not like, and not in a great villain, I hate her. Just, you know, not very good character. Is probably gonna be the lady, the Kansas lady, the one that's
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. What's the name?
Seems
of
kinda
the
weak.
actress, do you know?
I don't know.
Have you ever
Karen?
seen Fargo?
Oh
Yeah, she's in Fargo.
Yeah,
she's a
the
policewoman.
detective. She's the
Yeah, you're
police
She's a
right.
policewoman. She's very good in Fargo.
Yeah, but she's always playing that same like awkward role. She's always like.
It made no sense for me for that woman to be like in a leadership position.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
with her
I was
disposition
like,
and-
like her voice cracks every time she talks. There's no way that I would let her lead like an apocalyptic rebellion. No, what
Especially
about the
when
dude
you have
with the-
Mr. Navy SEAL, bro, with his.
He had like a knife in his gun. Do you see that? He has like a fucking shit aiming and then just like a knife in case you accidentally need to stab someone as you shoot them. Nuts, man. Why would
Nah,
you put
that
in charge?
guy looked like Mr. Preparedness.
Yeah.
And then you have like
Mr. Prepared.
friendly councilwoman,
Yeah.
not even friendly councilwoman, like town vet maybe, you know.
Parent teacher association.
She's so
Yeah, fucking primary school teacher.
Yeah.
Who do we
Like-
who do we choose to lead us?
She's definitely a counselor at a high school.
Yeah.
That was her job
Yeah.
before everything went.
She's definitely like, Timmy's just special.
I was like, you're not stupid.
You just don't get it. It's just, you know, your numbers.
Yeah, but then again, I think she might be one of those characters where you're like, oh man, like she sucks, nothing interesting. She's a beta, she's soft. But then again, like the second that she didn't need that dude, just like immediately just picks up the gun, pops him, carries on with the day.
Yeah.
You know,
Seemed a
like,
bit.
She seems like she's gonna have.
She's
some
gonna be a
sort
plot
of-
element. Just
Seemed a bit retarded though. Like, to be honest, like I understand, you know, she's mad and everything, but it also seemed very irrational to just shoot that dude. First of all, it's her doctor. You know, he's done nothing wrong to her. Second of all, shooting her on what grounds? On like refusing to give intel, like. Plus, it's a doctor. Like, how many of these do you have lying around in post-apocalyptic America?
Like man, you scrape yourself with the nail, like tetanus,
You're
to the
fucked.
grave for you, my boy. To the grave, to the ground.
yeah.
You get any kind of infection.
That's
like
a
you,
wrap.
you get any kind of like shitty disease, appendicitis, you're done, bro. You
It's definitely done. Well,
Just
That's
30% of kids right there just
It's like it's just bad.
and you happen to have one doctor, a good doctor who's delivered a baby, delivered her, you know? So he's probably been a doctor for like what, 30, 40 years, a pre Fallout doctor,
Like, can
and you just cap him over nothing.
you
Yeah.
imagine getting like your girlfriend pregnant during the apocalypse? It's like, babe, I think I'm pregnant, and you're like, ooh. Ooh, we don't have any doctors. Except we're keeping it.
Nah, and also I love when they bring in the guy.
idea.
When they bring in the
No.
guy, they bring in the guy and they're like, "Oh, he's done." She's like, "Not even if I had a doctor," and he's like, "No,
Especially
there's
not if you have a doctor.
there's no chance to save him." It's like, bro, I think you should probably let the doctor decide that. You know?
Yeah, but
Imagine you're hurt and I'm like, "I'm sorry, Michael, this is it. Shouldn't we like go to the hospital?" No.
Can I get a second opinion?
No, you're dead. You're dead. Trust me, you're dead.
You're done.
Also, I did find it interesting that there were so many cars. They all had like decked out vehicles. They'd all been lifted. They had like monster truck wheels. I'm like, damn, these
America.
guys get some resources down south.
No, but the mods were like terrible. They were putting like snow plows on the front of the
It
cars.
was like a poor man's Mad Max.
Yeah.
Pretty
He
much.
was getting like scrap pieces.
Although Mad Max does scream severe poverty, severe desert poverty
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
But hey, maybe there's just cancers, you know?
Yeah.
Good episode.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I think it sets up. Mostly, this was an episode of setting things up. I think next episode we're
the
gonna
plot
get.
moving forward.
It
We
is-
get to a different location.
It is what it is. You
Yeah,
know, you
what it
can't.
is.
We're spoiled. It's like we said, we're spoiled.
Yeah, this isn't
We're
a bad
spoiled.
episode. Like, let's not give
Daddy
that
Neil
impression at all.
Druckmann has been giving us way too many saucy episodes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we had to get another episode which is still good, but just more transitionary. This is necessary for the pacing.
I
you
would
know?
have liked to see the episode start with another flashback. I liked when they did that the first two episodes. And then in the third episode, halfway through, they showed a flashback of when Tess and Joel went to visit Bill Frank, you know, like before everything happened,
Yeah.
like 10 years before. I feel like it gives good context, you know?
Yeah,
Even if
but-
it's just for like a split second, a split intro, it gives you an idea of like what it was like before that moment. Just to
We
keep-
did get a driving around montage though with a great song, which is a song I've been listening in my car like all week before the show. So when it came on, I was like, "Whoa!" It's like they know me, bro. Alone and forsaken by a fiend, by man.
Who is that? Is that
Hank Williams.
Let's do this. You sing and I click and on the recording.
What are you doing?
Pararlo. Mientras canta. I end the show.
Oh,
I'm saying the outro is gonna be you singing.
such an awkward way to. All right, well, thank you for coming, guys. Bye bye. Pablo just wanted to fucking cut me off, man. Mr. Censorship.